Let me pull up the stream. Oh shit, actually I might have to have another stream tab going and muted. I think there's Twitch drops for Hunt Showdown.
Yeah.
Okay, we are burning daylight. We have 2.5 hours left.
We have 5. We're going till 5.
We have
Of
4
daylight.
hours left.
James, I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about daylight.
Oh, I should probably have my camera on. I should also open up the Twitch channel. I'm just working on actually making cards.
Yeah,
Oh, are we
you
actually
totally
live? I
caught
never
us.
heard the...
We've been caught completely by surprise. Oh, is this on? Oh, hi. I
Oh,
didn't see you come in.
I didn't see you there.
Fancy
Welcome.
meeting you here. Give me 1 second. I'm very bad at multitasking, and I'm in the middle of scribing a card that we had just been like talking about. So give me 1 second to finish that, and then chat. I will explain what's going on and why we're going to be streaming at you a Google Doc today.
Also, as in with tradition, if how is the audio sounding to everybody? If it's terrible, let me know.
Darkwings, Claytron, hello, and at least 2 other people that I don't know. I assume some of those are the people watching are me and James and anybody else.
Yes, that's true. I am one of those of us watching the stream. Brett, I put a link.
You did.
For you
I am
in-
complaining about sanitation.
Yes, we need to move this thing when done. I can even move it now if you want. Will that break things on stream if I move it right now?
No.
Nope,
No,
I
it
just
won't.
have a giant window. So if I move the window, it will break things. So I'm not going to move the window.
I'm going to create a new folder for us called what do we want to call this?
This goes under Coyote.
I got that far.
Okay. Cool. This goes under design.
I got that far.
Okay. So now the bread is yours to butter as you see fit.
I mean, we do have a future ideas section, but that seems not the right text. Oh no, I pressed the back button. Now everything is destroyed.
Yep.
Speaking of buttering bread, anybody remember we butter the bread with butter? Classic of when I was in middle school.
Is
I
this something
believe
they had
that
to teach you in middle school?
They're a
yeah.
band that makes songs about World of Warcraft.
I see.
We knew the DJ for my 8th grade graduation, and we got them to play hardcore music, including "We Butter the Bread with Butter."
I see.
I will someday. Well, no, I won't tell that story. Never mind.
Hello, Mr. Jester.
What category are we streaming in, by the way?
Just chatting.
Apparently, we are just chatting.
Just chatting.
Just
It is. It is
just
the biggest.
designing.
It's the biggest one on Twitch, and it fits what we're doing.
Does that mean we have extra competition though? Like, are we less likely to be visible? I don't know.
I can always. I
I
can
have
always
to point out.
switch it
Sorry,
up.
I have to point out the card that Matt just designed, which is based on the guards card that can appear a couple different places in deck one, where it's guards. They don't look happy to see you. Matthew has created more guards. They really don't look happy to see you.
Perfect. Perfect. Oh man, this is like when the backup shows up for the NCPD cards. Um, so
Armor locks butters. I think Jack
uh,
is correct.
okay, so this is a little bit complicated for the patrolling guards. Oh no, it's not. Never mind. I got this. Uh,
At the end of the round, flip this card.
But
Oh, if the hit requirements are made.
yep.
That makes
And so
sense.
now,
See, I was envisioning it as uh if you meet the hit requirements, you don't take damage, and then it flips automatically. But
so
this
here's the
makes sense too.
problem. Would the guards, so now we have to think about it thematically, right? Because would the guards leave? Like you get into a fight with these guards and they just continue on their patrol. So they
Well,
have
I
to
didn't.
stop
Well, so
patrol.
well, but see, I'm trying to move away from envisioning damage as purely getting shot with a gun, because damage, we also use damage as like you're wasting time,
True.
um, you're more likely of getting caught by the guards. This damage could be seen as, um, the alarm might get raised if you hit this, and then there's no coming back from it.
We should
so
have we should have two versions of this actually. We should have the version where if you fail, the guards are onto you and actually start shooting, and the version where if you fail, you're wasting time, right? Um, and I think you're right. I think we should make both versions of these things because for build your own adventure, we're going to need that. So, real quick for everybody who is watching, for the handful of people who are watching, what we're doing right now is we're going to do a card jam. We're just going to throw down a bunch of ideas, and a lot of them are going to be messy. A lot of them are not going to be good, but you're going to get to watch the design process. It's going to be pretty boring in some ways because it's literally us just talking design and a Google Doc. Um, but we need to do this. We need to do it for a long time today to get the cards that we need to get made. Um, and I figured, why not allow people into the process? Like, it costs us nothing to be like, hey, welcome in. Um, Only thing to note, you'll see the disclaimer, which legal wants at the top. If you make any suggestions, we may have already built a card that's similar to whatever you suggest. So we have to tell you, hey, if you make a suggestion and we use it, we can't give you money or attribute it or whatever. But we'll appreciate it forever. So, if you have thoughts, feel free to throw them at us. But yes, so right now, what we're debating right now is we realized shortly before this that there was some design tech we needed to create. So what we're trying to do today is build your own adventure doesn't have all the tools it needs. It needs a lot of generic cards that are going to fit into any adventure. So we're trying to build all the scenario cards, all the non-player cards that you could fit anywhere. But one of the things that Aidan brought up was like, how cool would it be if we could have some patrolling guards? And then we had the conversation of, oh, sure, they can function like bouncers, who, when you make their 2 hit requirements, you don't take damage from them. But we were like, what if they phase out every other round? Now, we don't want a lot of bookkeeping. We don't want people to have to remember, oh, which round is it? Were they in phase or out of phase this round? We don't want people putting tokens on stuff. So the debate, like, we realized, oh, well, we can just have the card flip every round and have the back of the card be the guards not being there, right? And this is kind of amazing because this is tech we didn't have. We now have just tech to build cards which do stuff every other round, because we just didn't realize that. So a lot of what we're also doing is assembling design tech and figuring out new things that we can use for a million different places, right? Because I can obviously make a version of this which is like a camera sweep or whatever that uses the tech version. I can do a card that, has perfect grumpy coffee beans. Absolutely. It's unfortunate Irene's not here to hear that glorious suggestion. But yeah, that's my spiel. I'm gonna go back to actually working. But yeah, if anybody has any thoughts, feel free to throw them at us at the same time. Um, Anybody on the team want to say anything else about this endeavor? Oh, the only other thing I was going to say is do try, part of it is also figuring out names for stuff. Some of these generic ones are going to be very simple, but we want things to remain evocative. So while you guys are creating your cards, like make sure that we're not just focusing on the mechanics, right? We're focusing on what story does this allow people to tell, since this is for build your own adventure stuff.
All right, and chat, I will kind of scroll up and down since this is a long Google Doc, so we're not just seeing what's on James's mind.
Did we write down something? Oh yeah, clear skies, discard all lingering effects. That was something that somebody brought up. We needed to add it anyways, and we just hadn't added it yet, but some people brought it up in the Build Your Own Adventure chat and the Discord that they were like, I'm trying to build, they were talking about lingering effects, and they're like, I want to build a scenario with lingering effects. But I need a card that gets rid of lingering effects so that players don't have these lingering effects for the entire scenario if I don't want them to. Um, so yeah, we made it. So yeah, we made a card that gets rid of all lingering effects. That's the kind of generic um, mechanic piece that's really important for this. That kind of like, it's not that flavorful or exciting, but it enables people to make actual scenarios out of this that feel like actual scenarios.
Also, you'll see me being very sloppy about a lot of this. Like I'm saying, if the two hit requirements were made, we have some very specific way of saying this. I think it's if you meet the two hit requirements. And I should be using that specific verbiage, but I'm not. Um, okay, Aiden, I've got both patrolling guards and evade the patrol. Evade the patrol is your version where it's just a you have to take time. We can put
That
some
makes
flavor
sense.
text
Yeah.
on these to indicate that.
So I just made a card. I was like, I want the ability to have people determine what happens if you fail to break into a place quietly. I made breaking and entering, which is probably not the right title. I'm pretty bad at titling. I usually throw out whatever the first thing I think of is, and then I go back and try to find something more flavorful after that. Um, but what I put for this was when this obstacle is cleared, if there is two stealth in the plan, discard the next card without looking at it. Essentially, you can put a guards or corporate security or whatever as the next card in the scenario deck. So if people, so if players, it's a little bit like in the first scenario deck, spoilers, very mild spoilers. There are some cards where if you don't do them in one round, you flip them over. And if you flip them over, you hit guards because, oh, you didn't sneak in good enough. You weren't quiet enough. You didn't hack well enough, whatever. Um, and I want that, but without being as prescriptive as being like, and there's always guards on the back of this. That's the only thing you can put as the next thing. Um, and actually, you could potentially flavor something like this so that you could use it as a in the middle of like a net run or something too. You know, you're trying to break through the firewall or whatever, and you could put like black ice as the thing that gets discarded if you have stealth in the plan.
So this is also very cool because we didn't have this tech before either. This is why I wanted to game jam. This is exactly why. Because we never had the if plan has XX, discard the next card without looking at it. That's very cool tech. The only question is, does that create a play pattern where players like take the damage if they can't do that, and then to get another time, like does it slow down play by players going, okay, let's actually not win this, let's take the damage, let's do another round where we can focus just on stealth, and does that meet the criteria? We could
I
also do this, could be, I think this definitely works 100% for any card that says if the plan is not defeated in one round,
mhm.
like clear it and draw the next card. For all those, I think 100% awesome. I just have a little bit more of a question of the actual play pattern when it's on cards that are not defeated in one round.
Yeah, I will see. I think if it was like most of those cards, if they're not defeated in one round, do X that we have right now are they don't deal damage to the player, right?
Right.
And so if it didn't deal damage to the player, there's no question that you would just you know, not beat it on purpose until you have the perfect plan for it. I think maybe you even up the damage to like 2, and that would make it much less desirable to keep going. Uh, and then you just have to trust the storyteller who put the scenario deck together to be like, maybe don't be a dick and put Adam Smasher on the other side of this door if they aren't stealthy enough.
Well, or
But
do.
or
Uh,
do because it's funny, but
so my thing about this is we'll have to test it and see how players deal with it.
mhm.
I think that worst comes to worst, we could make it 3-6. If this obstacle is not defeated in one round, discard it and draw the next card. If it is defeated, uh, or I'm trying to think exactly how I would word it, because you could go, um, if this not obstacle is not defeated in one round, clear it. If this obstacle is defeated in one round and there's a stealth in the plan, discard the next card without looking at it. Um, I'm not sure. Like that still feels a little bit clunky to me,
Yeah.
but I think like something of that nature.
All right. I don't know what this is flavor wise yet, but Grumpy Coffee Beans says, "What if not meeting the requirement could be beneficial?" And I actually think there's something there. Either there's a couple ways to do that. There can be an obstacle that is a sort of tertiary obstacle that gets added to a fight with other obstacles that says like if the plan resolves with a pair muscle in it, add damage or whatever. This deals damage to them. It can. Go ahead.
Yeah, imagine the card is feign incompetence, right?
Yep.
Uh, and you have whatever stats you have on it, and then basically the the goal is to not ever make a pair, right? Like the two hit requirements are a pair, and it says something like if the two hit requirements are not made, uh, clear this card and take no damage or whatever, right?
What about
We have one of those in scenario 4.
we have deals extra damage for each muscle, so it's the same tech,
Sure.
but
Right,
this
right.
is specific. But this is pairs instead,
Yep.
uh, which I think is pretty interesting too, because there's a lot of like player cards that are like players deal +1 damage for each pair in the plan. Um,
Well, and what I
and for this one, we can also do. There's like we can say easy to hit requirement is like 2 pair with a stealth, or you could make a straight or better. And so it's like, well, do you go for the straight, which is clearly more difficult? It'll deal less damage if you go for the straight.
well, and the I like that, but I also one of the things I like is creating cards that are going to be difficult when you've got your deck teched out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in some ways, by scenario 5, it's not incredibly difficult to build a group of decks that are going to be have a relatively easy time like making a straight, right?
Yeah.
Um, but
Oh,
those same decks are going to have a harder time not making a single pair, right?
yeah. James, we've talked about the difficulty of statting out an Atom Smasher obstacle because you like letting players defeat Atom Smasher is kind of a like it doesn't really make sense unless they're like top tier end of 2077 V status can take on Atom Smasher. Um, but I was just thinking when you were talking about ways to make cards things more difficult when you're fully statted out. Um, we do have the tech of like discard a card from the plan before you check to see if you hit. Discard a pair. What if there's some and I'm not saying Atom Smasher necessarily, but some very tough cybernetic person, and it just straight up says discard a straight from the plan. If you
Well, so
can't, you miss.
I like that. So a I had Adam Smasher requiring a flush and asking you to discard 2 muscle from the plan,
Yep.
which is very difficult because
Oh,
either you're making a muscle flush and you need
yeah.
7 muscle, or you're making a non-muscle flush and you also need 2 muscle, right?
In his blonde Elvis form. Yeah, 100%. Uh, you know what? Thinking about my straight idea, it would be super interesting to have a obstacle. There are no to hit requirements on this obstacle. You basically automatically hit, but in the rules text it says you must discard a straight from the plan. If not, the plan misses.
Yeah, we can do that.
So it doesn't have a hit requirement technically, but you do have to make a straight because you have to be able to discard a straight, and then you have to still have cards in the plan after that to deal damage.
So, and it's funny, I was just thinking of one where there are no 2 hit requirements, but the its damage is equal to the amount of damage you deal, right? Like you just at the end of the round or whatever, you take damage equal to the amount of damage in the plan.
Yep.
That might actually be a trap now that I think about it,
Yeah.
and not an
I mean, I think
obstacle.
you could do it both ways,
Yeah.
but yeah, totally. It makes sense as a trap. Javonni's here. Hello, Javonni.
Wow.
Hey.
Sorry, I was making food.
No eating allowed.
Because now that I think about it, like you can probably get away, but like by scenario four, you've gotten rid of a lot of your cards that don't deal damage.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Here's the thing with that weird discard a straight card as well
Yep.
that makes it a little bit more versatile. Um, and it's kind of a choice when you're making one of these discarded cards from the plan thing. This is new tech, I think. I don't think we have this anywhere. Normally we say the plan misses if you don't do the
Yep.
thing that this card asks you to do. We could also just say the plan misses this obstacle if you don't do that.
That's true.
Because then you can throw this into a multi-obstacle fight
Yes.
and let players deal with the other stuff first and
Yep.
then take on the thing that makes them discard a straight.
That's true. I like that.
I have named it Straight Shot. That's not going to be its final name, I'm sure, but I wanted to be able to find it easily when I want to rename it when I think of a name, and so I put straight in the title. I've toyed with the idea in like scenario writing and stuff of getting lost and how to do that mechanically. Um, as I've done it in at least one thing I was writing where it's just basically one obstacle where it's like, hey, you're lost. Fight this obstacle to not be lost anymore. But I think there's cooler ways we could do that too. But
So
also lost might just be a decent, like kind
lingering
of
effect.
versatile thing to throw in there for BYOA people, because then you can be like, you're in the weird laboratory or whatever underneath the city. Oh,
Yeah,
you're lost.
I think you can make lost as a lingering effect, no problem.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Well, but see, the thing is, there's lost as a lost as a lingering effect doesn't have the same impact as actually being lost and not being able to progress because you are lost. Because lingering effects, by definition, you keep progressing through the scenario, right?
Yes, but that could be the next bunch of cards can be you getting unlost, right? Like you
That's
wandering around.
true. That you know what? I think we could do. I think there's two versions. There's like the obstacle version where it's just you get lost, find your way back, and then the lingering effect version, which is all right. The players are lost. Person making this scenario uh, make the next few things that kind of describe how they get to unlost. Wrong Turn is a good name for that, Tyler.
Naming things is where I excel.
It's one of my weakest suits in writing. It's why I'm always in awe of William Gibson, because he always everybody's name, every person's name in like every William Gibson thing is perfect and awesome, and sometimes divorced from anything really stupid, and you think it shouldn't work, and then you read the story and you're like, yeah, this lady named Molly Millions, it actually feels like it totally makes sense
What,
and is
Johnny
awesome.
Mnemonic? Yeah.
Yeah, Amy Poehler had Michael Schumacher on her podcast, and like he always names characters in the most bizarre way on purpose. But it's exactly like that.
I like oh, the guy who did Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and Pluribus. Uh Vince Gilligan.
Yeah.
He I think it was him was just like, oh, and there was somebody in The Simpsons used to do something like this too, where they would just like clock a really unique, weird name that they heard in real life. And then later they would just be like, there's like this one off character, and I want them to have a weird, unique name. And then they'd just be like, oh, yeah, that guy that I met that one time. And they just use that name.
He just
So one thing that we need to also determine is, do we need for build your own adventure tiered effects? Like, do I need lockpick 1, 2, and 3? Like, we got it for ice, right? We have ice levels 1, 2, and 3. That makes sense endogenously in the world.
Yeah.
But lockpick, well, if I'm doing a scenario for uh, new players, I want a much easier lockpick than if I'm doing ones for my crew that's been playing, for the past year and a half, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Hello, Forking Path.
yeah, welcome.
Design Jam. Yes, it is time.
Oh, do we know what the maximum character count on a title is, like on a card title? I know we have it somewhere, but does anybody know offhand?
I can check really quick.
I'm glad you know where to look, because I actually don't know where to look.
I actually don't know where to look to find where it's written down, but I have a card that I can type characters into right now.
should be in the style guide.
Glorious.
Because there's a limit to how many can fit that I think is written down, but that's not the hard limit to how much we can do at all, because like we can shrink them and make longer things fit. There's just like a best practice. Let me see this one.
Well, now I'm really interested in like having a legalese card where it's just all that like 6-point font,
Yeah.
includes
Do you
magnifying
remember?
glass.
Uh, there are so many Magic cards from the early days of Magic that I love for exactly that reason. But I loved Demonic Attorney because it was all that in order to literally steal cards from your opponents. Like, not in game, like out of game.
Yeah. So James, sort of the upper limit, and you can probably go a little bit over this, but it starts getting weird after that, is 19 characters. And that includes
Night.
spaces.
Huh.
You can go over that. We have some stuff that goes over that. It just gets a little bit weird. But if you're like trying to keep things looking nice and tight, 19 is about where you want to be. I just saw something wicked this week.
Right.
It's way too long.
It is 12 characters
I-
over the limit.
James, I didn't even have to look it up to know that that was too long. I've been making these cards for a minute.
So
Tell
that's
me.
why I asked, right? Because I was
Yeah,
looking at it and I was like, I want to make this card. I'm like 99% sure this is far too long.
something wicked would work.
Actually,
and then
that's amazing. Wait, we're
and
doing
then the
this.
flavor text is just
Yeah.
this way comes.
Nope. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That makes sense. Bunch of designers.
Oh, sneezes attacking me. Oh, it's front and back. I see how you did it.
Yep. I mean, I believe that all of my Shakespeare will have to be front and back cards. Although I do like Tyler's suggestion also of putting it in the flavor text.
Um, yes, Jester and Coffee Beans. We should have Carry On as the first as one side on a card, and then Wayward Son on the back side.
Also, I was thinking in about the cards, like the cards that make you discard cards. Is there like better words to than discard for those? Like I was thinking about like puts into play face down or whatever.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I'm concerned by Wayward Son. Yeah, that sounds menacingly apocalyptic. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's making me think of Outer Wilds and the Quantum Moon, but a Quantum Sun, which sounds much worse than a Quantum Moon. Okay, the sun's at a good distance. Somebody has to be looking at it at all times. Otherwise, it might move and we might all die. Ah, yes, Wayward Son does sound like a Book of the New Sun reference,
Oh man, we should
which
get more Buffalo Sun references in here.
we should. I do have Terminus Est tattooed on my shin with some flowers. What are the flowers called? The weird alien flowers that they duel with.
Oh yeah, man. ah, that is an IP that has like zero IP value, but I would so love to make a game in that world.
It really does.
I mean,
Um,
like imagine doing the TTRPG of Book of the New Sun.
Mhm. um, I would be insufferable if I wrote the Book of the New Sun TTRPG
So
rule
good.
book. I would describe the setting and I would have an entire paragraph uh, listing brick types,
Oh yes.
which was one of my favorite sections of the book early on that made me go, "Damn, this guy's onto something." Was when he's describing the strange city, very old city, and then he just goes on to spend an entire like half of a page basically just listing brick types. Hey, Blue Mage is in chat. Hi, Blue Mage. Yeah, he uses a lot of esoteric words. I would really recommend uh, the podcast. If you do a reread of Book of the New Sun, the podcast shelved by genre. It's why can't I remember the guy's names? Austin Walker and a couple. other guys that have done a bunch of podcasts I listen to that I can't remember the name of their network. But anyways, they did a block on Book of the New Sun as like I think like the first episodes they did of that podcast, and it's pretty insightful. Like I got more out of it than I would have just reading the book because they get into like his weird like there's a lot of weird Catholic stuff in that because he's a late in life Catholic convert, the author. And so and then like he's got some very weird philosophy stuff that he gets into in the back there that like they were able to point me towards like what the hell he's getting at or like what he's referencing that I would never have known that he was referencing or whatever. Is Forking Path Carl? I think Forking Path might be Carl. I don't remember what his name on Twitch was. Is that you? Yep, it's Carl. Shout out Carl. Forking Path. He did our demo stuff, the cool stuff in Tabletop Sim. Oh, I am under Matthew's section. It's not where I want to be. Okay.
Did we ever decide on exactly what we're calling ranks?
Not that I'm aware.
We've never found anything better than ranks. Ranks is player facing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is like nobody knows what ranks are.
Well, we could call them floor boos.
Perfect. Done.
Here's an interesting thing that I just ran into. Um, a lot of time in our flavor text and our our story text, we talk in the second person a lot, like like DM voice, where you're like, and you go to the pawnbroker, and he says this to you, or whatever. Uh, but on Wrong Turn, I was like, I wanted just like one line of flavor text or whatever, just to be like, you're lost.
So
And
here's how we do that. I actually do have a standard way to do that.
yeah,
I just cut the pronouns entirely. So
well, yeah,
I make it really
well,
stick together, right? Lost,
he,
looking for a way out, whatever,
yeah.
like groping in the dark, right? Like that would
Well,
be what
see,
I would
I
lost
wanted
is
it to be flavorful, so I said, "Where the hell are you?" And I was like, "That does not sound nearly as good as where the hell are we?" But that's first person,
right. That's why I was saying I
which
would
is like,
uh
but if it's a quote, that might be okay because it's one of the
yeah.
characters saying, "Where the hell are we?" I think we just put it in quotes because we do have the characters say things occasionally. So if we just put in quotes, "Where the hell are we?" then I think it's just, well, one of you said that. One of you said, "Where the hell are we?"
Right, because if you're playing solo, you're playing with a mercenary too. So like that would still work,
Yeah.
right?
Then you or the mercenary said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or any other character you might have tagging along. Oh, all right.
You could also just
Lingering
do
effect. Sorry,
what the you could also
sorry.
just
Lingering,
oh sorry.
li-
Go.
lingering effect. Escort mission. Got it. I'll figure out what that is in a sec. The top-down design. Anyways, go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, I don't need to interrupt you. I was just saying you could just always do what the hell dot dot dot.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I I wanted to reinforce because wrong turn
Yeah.
implies that you're lost a little bit, but it could also be like wrong turn you ran into guards, wrong turn whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted it to reinforce that you are lost, and that's the flavor here.
Delicious, delicious flavor.
Hey James,
Yep.
here's some new tech. Can I give a lingering effect health? I mean, yeah, in the way that I can say assign a point of damage here, and then if there's so much damage on this, get rid of it, or and do something else. Um, so
So
I'm trying to do escort mission, which is like you have
yeah,
somebody with you that you're protecting, which is essentially like something bad happens if you take too much damage, but not enough damage to kill you necessarily.
so it's funny. I was just thinking of something in the converse, but yes, basically, I don't like using counters, but I think we can do them for that where you have lingering effect where you go
Well, and
every
that's
time
the
you
thing.
take that, it
It's
takes a.
just damage counters, right? It's the same way you would track damage on an obstacle,
So here's
except
the
it's persistent between obstacles.
Here's the problem. We don't want
Yeah.
it to always be damage counters because in escort mission, yes. But imagine I had a thing that was like you get drugged or whatever. And
Yep.
every time you clear an obstacle, you put a counter on it. And when it has three counters, it goes away, right?
Yep.
So basically, you've got a lingering effect that has a condition that you can meet that when you meet that condition enough times, it is it's cleared because you can do very cool stuff where you go, oh, every time that you resolve a plan with a straight or better, put a counter on this, right?
Yep.
I don't like counters, but I'm willing to experiment with them for lingering effects to turn them on and off.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to start adding a bunch of counters. Look, I'm a bit of a counter pervert. Everybody who plays Magic with me knows that I have a Tom Bombadil deck. It's just all about counters and moving them around and doing all sorts of shenanigans with counters. But I don't want to introduce. I won't be putting lore counters into Cyberpunk Legends. Um. Oh, a permanent that gets turned sideways when stealth icons are used in the plan. I mean,
So
that could be a cool way of preventing damage to an escort
I think we
thing.
have one or two, but like permanents that trigger. I was thinking about this as like upgradable cards, right? As upgrade cards, where we've got permanents that trigger on conditions, so that way you basically have a mini game with the plan. And we
No
have a
grumpy
few.
coffee beans. We don't mean tapped. Don't get us sued by Magic. It's
Uh,
exerted.
right, they exert. God, I'm not jealous of designers doing card games in 20 years when they have to figure out a word for tapped that has not been used yet.
Well, let's just copyright a bunch of possible ones right now so we can patent troll later.
There you go, perfect.
We
That's
can
the
sue
true.
people and be like, actually, we own the term turn the card sideways.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see what people say about our use of legends. So, you know.
Yeah, playing cards into the plan face down if they have uh like party effects like plan size plus. I think those happen if it's an immediate effect. I think it's has to happen at the end. So I think how it works, and we put this in the rules. We should put this in the rules somewhere if we're doing face down cards in the plan, is that the plan is treated like those cards basically do nothing until they get flipped face up. So you play out the plan like normal. You get to 5 cards, flip those cards over. Oh, there's a plan size +1. Okay, now we keep going until we hit the new plan limit. I think is how that would need to work.
See, I agree, except for I've been trying to figure this out, right? Like I have a lingering effect, failure to communicate. All cards are played face down. If
Yep.
that is the case, if it ever is the case where you can play any card face down, I feel like that gets so weird and cumbersome in resolution stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like
Well,
like
because then you have to choose like if I want to play this card that says discard a card, but I just want it to discard itself, can I just play it face down and then discard it? No, you have to wait till the end of the round and then flip it over and then do the discard effect. Like, uh, yeah,
right. And the plan technically resolves and then it unresolves. Like, I think we can do cards that you play face down if we design those cards
yeah.
specifically to be
Well, and
able to
that's
play face
when I
down.
originally came up with the idea of playing face cards down. Was that was basically how I solved for that. Was I was like, well, I just won't make any cards that get played face down that say play this card face down and also give plan size +1 or whatever. I just won't do that. But yeah, yeah, this is our jam street. We're doing a little jam session right now. I'm on bass.
I did think, oh, we should have background music, but then that might be too annoying.
I
Uh,
Next time, next stream.
yeah.
in a minute, I'm going to probably focus more on this and less on communication. Um,
Yeah, because I also did in my lost lingering effect wrong turn. I was like the first card played each round is played face down. In the meantime, I can't think of. I'm trying to think of something better for lost, but I don't know. I'm getting turned around thinking about it. Um,
yeah, if there's anybody who's played around with Build Your Own Adventure stuff at all, feel free to let us know things you felt like you needed. Because I feel like there's a whole bunch of stuff here that we need to genericize.
yeah. Um, yes, there is a game awards for board games, TCGs, RPGs. The Ennies is what I'm thinking of. I think there's a couple other things. I think the Ennies is the big one, right?
That and
It's like the
the
Gen Con.
Spiel.
Diana Jones Awards. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah,
Spiel
yeah.
was
Yeah, Spiel. Yeah, that's the other one that I couldn't think of. With like a big stream, I mean, probably big for tabletop games, but I don't know. Definitely not with big live dance performances and uh, advertisements for new games between
Uh-huh.
every award.
yeah, unfortunately, tabletop games do not make that type of money.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, unless you're Magic the Gathering, you do not make $1 billion.
Oh, just think of all the Magic commercials. Uh, what I'm
I
hearing
like the
is,
old one with the goblin that gets big and beats up the kid.
yeah, no epic flute guy. I know the flute guy was amazing every year.
Oh, Man3 asks an interesting question. For BYOA cards, can rules text exist on story cards? Right now, the way we've done it is no. Uh, we have, there's multiple times where you'll have a story card, and then we'll follow that with a rules card. Uh,
There,
Usually, that gives you instructions if we need to give rules instructions after a story card.
we will though. Story cards can include draw three, right? They can
Yes.
include
Yep.
like
They can
deck.
include some instructional text. So, and they should too, because then you can say, something's happening. There's a big thing coming, and then you say draw 3 cards, and then you're fighting stuff. But I think we probably limit the amount of rules text on those. There's probably like some instructional text at the end when there is, but not like half story, half big rules thing. In that case, if we're putting that many rules on something, we probably just would rather have an encounter or like a trap or clue or something, right? There's probably a different card type that for works better.
Yes, and you can do some of that through like the next couple of cards you pulled, as you said, whether it's a trap and encounter or several different things in a run that will give those things. But we're trying to sort of separate out a lot of the rules text and the story text.
Trying to think of the possible payoff cards for escort mission for if you still have the VIP, because I don't want to make them so specific. The issue here is that you don't want to make a card that I want to avoid having a card that is just if the crew has escort mission,
So
then
I
this
think
effect happens because then you can only use it with escort mission. I could say if the crew has a lingering effect, do
no.
X.
So what are give me your uh okay, so two things. Um, escort mission, we've got to have the positive side and the negative side, right? The
Mhm.
reward and the penalty. Um, we can just say, uh, so if we have an escort mission specific thing, sorry, there's like three ways to do this.
Yeah.
One, we have it as a double-sided card, escort mission. Uh, when it has 5 damage on it, flip it. and then it
Yep.
has a bad thing on the back, right? And that
Yeah,
includes
dead VIP, whatever.
exactly. So that's how we solve the bad side. The positive side, you can either say um, escort mission, uh, like we can have another card which says like VIP save, place escort mission in your lingering, in your persistent memory, or we can just have a card that says so that is the problem with escort mission. I think it might be specific enough that you have to have it has to be a binary pair, right? Like you have to have another card coupled with it because
Yeah.
other oh or if we really don't want to do it as a binary, you can have when the scenario ends, place this. Okay, so you have when this takes 5 damage, flip it. Flip it is dead VIP. Negative thing happens.
Mhm.
Maybe you put it in your persistent memory, and then you can have also escort mission when the scenario ends. Place this card in your persistent memory because if the scenario ends without you having flipped it, you will still have that card. Therefore, you put it in your persistent memory. But if it's flipped, it will be discarded or whatever, and you won't put it in your persistent memory.
I say that one
And
more time. Yeah. You put it in your persistent memory if it's not flipped. Yep, 100%.
right. So basically, here I'm gonna describe some stuff, and then you edit it
Yeah,
as fits your thing.
yeah. That the reason I didn't do that does make sense, but then you still have, even if it's in the lingering effects, we've had it added to lingering effects. Um, I still need the payoff for it, right?
Right. So there can be
Either
cards.
way, I need the payoff for it, which I don't, which is more so what I was trying to figure out, because I want, you know, if I was running this cyberpunk thing in tabletop, the VIP lived,
Oh, well,
you bring them here, yeah,
here's a really easy way to do this. I'm gonna knock things off my desk. Something like that. Like, obviously, take 4 damage. You can do whatever you want to change that. But
yeah,
basically, you put an Eddie's number on the front of the escort mission, right?
yep,
And then if they flip it over, they end up discarding it, so they don't have the Eddies at the end of the mission, so they don't get those Eddies.
yeah. I mean, that's good. I was more so trying to figure out story payoff for the people building scenarios. Like if they want you to get someone and bring them somewhere,
So
yeah, is there a way to give them a way to pay that off narratively without being so specific that it can only ever be paired with escort mission, right?
unfortunately, I don't really think so. So, like right
Yeah.
now, we do have some token cards, right? And the token cards are things like corporate security data, which you put in your persistent memory, and then we can have a host of cards that reference if you have corporate security
Yeah.
data, right? And a host of cards that give you corporate security data. We do have a card called a favor owed, which this could give you. And then we can have other cards that reference like a favor owed, right? Because that can be used for a
Yeah.
lot of different
Yep.
things.
That actually that makes sense. That gives the ability to have some narrative payoff.
Yeah.
If you have um I mean, this is the two eddies. I like the two eddies, the eddies and damage. Like that's like the straightforward version of it.
And
Um, straightforward mechanical version of it. But yeah,
this is what I mean by um, we might need several versions of things so players can make scenarios the way that they want. Like certain things
Yeah.
like escort mission, I actually think we probably need effectively two copies of, one of which is just the, oh, this is an escort
Yep.
mission that's only relevant to this, and it's just mechanically like I've got you on an escort mission. And then we've got one that is, I want to make this escort mission an important part of the narrative that thematically ties to stuff later.
Yeah. In that case, um, make a second escort mission, which is um the favor owed one, which would you the easy way to do that is at the end, if the crew has this lingering effect at the end of the scenario, add a favor owed to lingering effects.
Persistent memory. But yeah.
Or sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Or what we can have is um I'm trying to think about how we would do this. Is there a way that we say, um, like, is there ever a way that we can say, before you draw the last card of the scenario, if this, sorry, what I'm trying to think is like, is there any, can we do a design tech that is the last card of the scenario, do X if this is still around at the last card of the scenario, right? Like, draw the
Yeah.
last card of the scenario if this card is still around, otherwise discard it. Um, or the inverse, right? Because what I would love to do is be able to say, so where this gets really strong is if we can go, if the VIP you're escorting is still alive at the end of the scenario creator, right, whoever is doing build your own adventure can choose what the reward for that is. Um, and how we would do that is basically say, like, only draw the last card of the scenario if you still have this card or whatever. Like, um, oh, ugh, I want to include it on one card and not two. I keep doing the thing that you were doing earlier where you're like, if we have two options tied together, like
Yep.
if we have multiple cards, it's easy, but on one card, it's a little bit more
Yeah,
difficult.
because if we have multiple cards, it's really easy to just go, you make a card that says, if you have escort mission, draw the next card. If not, discard the next card.
Right. And we might just have to do that, but let's think about it a
I
little
mean,
bit.
we can also do, it's possible we can do, we do a Mad Libs style of card where it's, if you have blank spot, lingering effect in play,
I'm gonna move this
do
escort mission
X.
up to our featured section so
Yeah,
we can talk about escort mission 2. Also, everybody else, I am not seeing the number of cards per minute that we need and desire. I want to see some more of these. Also, I will call out that Matthew did create a thing that we need, which is I do have a one Eddie's card, but like we probably need a couple of other
yeah,
just Eddie's value cards that people can slip in their scenarios. So that way, if you have a big fight, right? If you have a
100%.
draw three or whatever, and you do a big fight and you want to reward the players, you have ways to do it. That's not just put my one Eddie's card in three times in a row.
Yeah, Darth Pac-Man. It's a little bit difficult to think about new cards when you have not played before. And
And
yeah, Forking Path, you're also right about Oblivion Radiant quests. Uh, Generic test only goes so far as a narrative payoff. The
yeah,
the
but
nice thing with this is presumably you're also playing it with your friends that you made it for. Hopefully, I mean, I would like in the future people to be able to like go online or in the Discord and be like, "Hey, here's my deck list for a scenario. Throw this together for your friends and play through it." You know.
Right. That's
Um,
exactly what we want.
yeah, the bot resolution cards. Spoilers. I'm not going to talk about what they are, but yeah, you're right. Something like that might be doable. We might be able to do like, depending on how much health you have at the end of the round, you might be able to have a card that says, if you have over 15 health or 15 or more health, draw the next card. If you have 8 to 15 health or 8 to 14 health, discard the next card and draw the next card. We might be able to do something like that, but
Yeah.
think
So,
of like multiple ending potential.
Aidan,
Yeah.
take a look at what I just put in the featured section. This might be insane, but it's also tech we don't have and could be cool.
The discard the last card of the scenario deck without looking at it.
Yeah, because the way this works is
Yeah.
basically if you get there with the VIP alive, you get to flip the last card, which is going to be whatever the resolution is for the VIP living and whatever
Hmm.
bonus you're going to get. But if he dies, you're going to just discard that last card without looking at it. Whenever this character dies in the scenario, you're going to discard that card without looking at it, and now you aren't getting that reward or seeing the narrative finish for having this around. I don't know if it's perfect, but it certainly lets somebody make that up themselves, right? Like the cool thing about this resolution of it is that final card could be like get some eddies. The final card could be a favorite ode, but the final card could be him turning on you, right? The final
Yeah.
card could be an obstacle actually that you didn't have to face that you get like because oh you escorted this person all the way there and then they betrayed you,
New obstacles, stabbed in the back.
right? Well, we actually do need that. That is an obstacle we should make that.
Yeah, I'm making it right now. You definitely. I feel like we have to have you immediately take damage. That's really dangerous because you don't want players to have like 2 health left and be like, "All right, we're gonna survive. Let's go to the the next card," and then immediately take 2 damage. I feel like it needs to be a obstacle that's like do something or take 2 damage immediately.
I'm trying to think
Um,
of like
We still yeah, still have trauma team,
Blue Mage
right?
says that I don't know how to say that person's name, but that they have a TTS save with a scenario in it already. So
oh really,
somebody, so at least somebody has thrown together a work in progress deck with
I want to
BYOA
test
cards.
it.
Yeah, I
Let's
would
try
love
both.
to test that too. Let me look up them in the server. Oh yeah, them. Um,
Yeah, forking path we've got. You're able to build your own scenario card, I mean your own narrative cards.
yeah,
And eventually we'll have this, or it's our hope to eventually have this as basically a web widget. But for right now, if you've bought the Build Your Own Adventure thing, if you look in the Build Your Own Adventure announcements or in the testing announcements, we've just given you the blank scenario card, the blank scenario narrative card, and you can just fill it out and bring it into DTS. If I was not, I'm pretty sure I put that up there. If I was not in the middle of being on Discord with everybody else on our server, I would flip over there and check. Yeah, I would absolutely love to see this TTS thing, Mazer.
I'm having trouble thinking of a way to phrase this. I have an idea for a lingering effect card that would make healing instead of healing the party, it would be damage. But I don't know how to phrase it for it to be like for it to make sense really and look fun.
Do you
Oh
mean like a lingering effect that adds damage to obstacles?
no,
No, a lingering effect that like if you use like a card that would heal, it would instead be
Oh,
ultimate.
right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think how I would word it.
I would call it overdose.
Okay. I just skipped the name.
That's my name for it because my mind immediately went, well, something that can heal hurting you. And then I went, oh, medicine, too much of it. Um, that's at least what I would call it. And then you would word it something like, whenever a card whenever the crew would heal, whenever your crew would heal, take that much damage instead. It would be something like that.
No, the way I wanted it, it would instead it would be damage to the enemy.
Oh, I see. Um,
oh, I get what you're saying now.
that is
Yeah.
cool.
So you
Then
wouldn't be
never
able to
mind. Then
deal.
don't call it overdose in
Yeah,
that case.
overdose.
That
No, it's more
I
void related.
couldn't think of a name for it.
Uh, maybe it's
Doping.
maybe it is rage. Give me a sec. Yeah, I think for right now we can call it rage. I really want it to be you know, an Iliad quote, but I'll have to think about exactly how we do that.
I did write down overdose. The take damage instead of healing. I did do that. Um,
I whenever the crew, it's probably something like whenever the crew would heal, deal that much damage or add that much damage to the plan instead.
Okay.
oh, stabbed in the back. Is that just a trap? I think that's just a trap.
Sure, I get
I th-
that.
I think it's just take 3 damage or whatever.
Oh, we need a contract negotiations card.
Contract negotiations. Yeah, you're right.
Because like we're gonna need that for corpo, but we're also probably gonna need it for like occasionally people will want that when you're talking to your fixer or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's in deck one when at the very beginning when he says like I'll cut you in for 10%. Everybody's always like 10%.
Right.
Come on, let me argue with the. If this was a tabletop session, I'd be arguing with this guy. Because no matter what you say to your tabletop players, um, they I feel like every tabletop player that I run stuff for, they always just think that they can just like get stuff for free by arguing with people, and I'm like, look, I don't care how when I'm playing D&D, I'm like, guys, I don't care how charismatic you are. you're not talking this shopkeeper into selling you these things at a loss unless like the city is immediately in danger and his shop's going to be destroyed if he doesn't. Like, other, and in that case, if you're trying to convince him of that and there's not a big demon he can see, he's gonna think you're extorting him. Like, and maybe you'll get it, but the guards are coming after you afterwards. But they'll always try it. They always try to haggle. That's my favorite thing. Is occasionally just doing the anti improv and just telling my players no, but completely in character, not railroading them, but them going, "Don't you think you can take a little money off here?" And the shopkeep going, "No, prices are as listed. I don't change prices."
So, question on another piece of tech. Um, so basically, I just wrote for contract negotiations. If this obstacle is cleared in one round, draw the next card. Otherwise, when this card is cleared, discard the next card. That allows us to have non-single round cards that, if not cleared in a round, still have an effect.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of like I think we do want that, right? Because my goal originally with the single round one was to keep things not tedious. But if you're building your own adventures, I'm gonna want some stuff like contract negotiations where, negotiations could drag on.
Yeah, I just thought of something weird.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be done in a lingering effect. Something like only one obstacle, only one active obstacle can be damaged in any given round, but only the obstacle you target for damage deals damage to you also. So you're basically my picture is one that seems like a card that somebody draws or like sees for the first time and like it gets their mind working and being like, "Ooh, how do I work this into a scenario?" And then you find like, here's three big, strong, scary guys, but because of this lingering effect, you kind of only fight one of them at a time, and you're choosing which one. There'd have to be some other weird obstacle effects in play to make it interesting too, though, right? Like on
Sorry,
those obstacles.
can you rehash that for me? I was actually paying no attention to you. I was thinking about another card.
Basically, I'm thinking about like a lingering effect or something that essentially says you can only deal damage to one obstacle at a time, but in any round, only the obstacle you deal damage to deals damage.
Oh, interesting. So we currently have obstacles that have taunt.
Yeah.
Can we use similar phrasing for how would we do this? Because
So
you're
we
right, on
do.
the length effect, it's pretty easy because we just write all that basically.
Yeah.
Um, oh, I think it probably is a lingering effect, and you make two versions of it. One version which discards itself when all obstacles are cleared, that you
Yeah.
like draw
Yep.
with the set of obstacles, right?
Okay. I think it might even be that we say something like rules text. Damage in rules text doesn't happen on other obstacles either, because then you can do stuff like here's an obstacle like those, like the patrolling guards that flips every round,
Yeah.
because then you would hit them. But like if a obstacle essentially isn't in the fight after getting hit for a round, you can be like, well, let's hit that guy this fight, and then he's going to flip over, and then you go, okay, we have to hit somebody else next round because he's flipped right now. I don't know. It's
Oh, I
weird.
see what you're saying.
Getting very complicated, but I feel like you have to get some weird complicated stuff going on to make the you can only damage one obstacle around interesting, right?
Well, and allowing for some weird, complicated stuff is not bad because it does often give flexibility to the GM. Like, I
Exactly.
was thinking when you were saying this, I was like, oh, I could have a bunch of like you're hacking either multiple systems at once or like there's multiple pieces of ice you're sort of dodging between and dealing with at a given time.
Uh yeah. Um yeah, because otherwise if you don't do some weird, interesting, complicated stuff with some obstacles in that, then it doesn't really make sense to even use the slingering effect, because then it's just like, well, instead just make them fight those obstacles linearly one at a time, because that's basically what they're doing. Darth Pac-Man, I like that. Silicon Coast idea, modern fantasy parody called the Silicon Coast. So if players try to haggle, it's basically like trying to haggle in a Walmart.
I just realized that we should build out like a half dozen location, like bar locations, like the inside bar parts, although they can use some um, of Kernel Panic for it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's something that people are going to want, you know.
I feel like I want to work with one of our artists and make a module bar slash club.
That would be cool. The thing that I was thinking is I think that for Build Your Own Adventure scenes, or they don't need to be triptychs in the way that we have been doing them. Like, remember how originally when we had scenario two, we had a bunch of things that weren't really triptychs, they were just like three locations within that place. I think we can do that for the locations in Build Your Own Adventure so people can socket in whichever ones they think is most useful to them.
Yeah. I don't think Twitch likes when I have two Twitch windows open. I think it only counts one at a time.
Oh, is
I
it
don't
not
have
giving you your hunt
I don't
drop?
have any progress towards my hunt drops, and I should be almost to my first Twitch drops from that. Oh well, they're going for a while. I can just leave them on. One time they were running when I was out of towns in Eastern Washington for Thanksgiving a couple years ago, and I was like hanging out with my family, and I was like, "Oh, there's Twitch drops right now," so I just opened it and put it in my pocket. I just had my phone running Twitch in my pocket for like 6 hours to get the Twitch drops.
Nice.
Oh, does it not count if they're muted? I swear it usually works if they're muted. That might be why. Let's see if it's too annoying for me to have that like 1%. That's still too loud. There's no way I can hear the person shooting their gun. That is going to be very distracting to have in the background while trying to work.
If you have it on, if you make it a separate like window, you could mute the window itself.
Oh, I could mute the window. Whatever. I'll just leave it on and while I sleep tonight. There'll be somebody streaming. We should do this more often, James. It is just so nice to, even if we're not talking constantly, to just be like, I have an idea for a card, but it doesn't work. And then just immediately talking about it for like 2 seconds
No,
and
this
then
is
figuring out how it works is so nice.
the problem with me being so underwater with all like the contract
Yep.
stuff. Like, this is, you know how I keep complaining about not having design time? We
Yeah.
need to do this as a team because if nothing else, I mean, to be totally frank, you and I talking is good also for new crew. Like, you guys are getting exposed to thinking through this and watching them think through this. Like, I can
Yeah.
see you guys' like thought process, and this is great, right? Javonni, when you were like, how do I do rage? Well, next time you'll have a better idea when you want to create one of those. And so, like, we need to do this as a regular thing. I just don't know how I conceivably buy that time.
Yep.
Mhm.
Speaking of that, I have an idea. I don't really know how to word.
Great, hit us.
Basically, the team can take like maybe 5 damage if they want, and then if they do, they can like get like a medical debt out of their deck.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it could even just be an eddy
It could just be
or
an
something
yeah.
like that. It could be medical experiment. You're
Yeah, I had the
volunteering for a
idea of a
medical.
blood drive. I'm like, how would a blood drive work in Night City?
Yeah,
It'd
yeah, yeah,
totally be
yeah.
monetized to hell.
Forking path, it is very true. Like, this is my life right now. I'm hoping to wrap up everything. So the problem is everybody like goes on vacation in the second half of December, and you have to like I want to get everything wrapped up this year because then it goes into everybody's calendars for next year. And so it's just like there's an enormous amount between when we ended like end of October and the end of the year, which is, 6, 7 weeks later, for most companies. There's just like an enormous amount that I have to get done. I'm hoping when I can lock all these things down and our like manufacturing and distribution contracts are done and like all of our accounting stuff is figured out and all this, I'm hoping next year I can actually do more design because this is exactly what I want to be doing. God, I hate the fact that we have the term rank. Like, I need to use that, and yet I hate that term.
Oh, that reminds me, actually. I don't know if this is like I don't know, the time for it, but the medical debt card, whenever you open the trauma pack, it still says XP.
Oh, good point.
I mean, that's we're like rewriting that whole card right now.
Got it,
So
okay.
that's that was one of the cards that we want to rewrite and test more. Yeah, value instead of rank. Values yeah, it's difficult because I'm like it's easy, it's also easy to be like the numbers on a card, but then like there's also aces and kings. So if people don't know, people might not know what you're talking about or might not think those count or yeah, it's tragic.
So I do have one problem that I've run into a bunch. I'm actually going to move my drinking competition up to the featured area so you guys can help me with this. So, okay, drinking competition is a trap. Choose a player. Flip the top card of the leader's deck. The chosen player plays a card. If the card played has at least one rank that exceeds the rank on the flipped card, repeat this process. If not, stop. If you flip one card, draw the next card. If you flip 2 to 4 cards, discard the next card without looking at it and draw the following card. If you flipped 5 cards, discard the next 2 cards without looking at them and draw the following card. Okay, it's a little clunky because of rank, but whatever. That part's fine. Here's the problem. In Build Your Own Adventure, we can never have you as my brain is conceptualizing it right now. Did I build in a way to do? I think I had this solved somewhere. Anyway, we can't have you discard 2 because right, if we have you do flip the next card, okay, no problem. Discard a card and flip the next card, okay, no problem. But if we then also have a discard the next 2 cards and flip the next card, well, what happens if you get the middle version where you discard a card and draw the next
Hmm.
card? That by the rules of the game, you will then also flip the following card. So in this case, you will get both the medium outcome and the good outcome if you get the medium outcome. You will only get the good outcome if you get the good outcome, and if you get the bad outcome, uh, you will get both the following outcomes. Right now, how we solve that in our actual scenarios is card 1 just says discard the next 2 cards. Card 2 says discard the next card, and card 3 doesn't say any of that, um, allowing us to compensate for it. But we don't have a good way of doing that within the um, build your own adventure. We can do it a very clunky way, which is if you flip one card, draw the next card. If you flip 2 to 4 cards, discard the next cards without looking at them and draw the following card. And then if you flip 5 cards, discard the next 5 cards and then draw the following card, right? Because what you could do is have card one be followed by a card that says discard the next X cards. And then you could have card three be followed by a card which says discard the next X cards. And then you could have card five not have that issue. Um, but that seems very clunky. Although I guess in Build Your Own Adventure, people aren't as limited by like sort of the printing size that we are. So if you really wanted to have like a 100 card scenario with lots of mobility between it, you could do that.
Yeah.
Good. uh,
Uh, your drinking game or drinking competition, whatever that you said, got me thinking about a way to do a drinking game that where you know, your characters are getting too drunk or throwing up if they drink too much and overdo it. So I made drinking game, don't overdo it, flavor text. If the plan exceed, it's going to be an obstacle. I haven't written the to hit requirements yet, but if the plan exceeds 5 cards, hand size is reduced next round by 1 for each card over 5 in the plan.
Ooh, I like that. The same idea is here, right?
Yep.
If you flip one card and fail, basically the card I'm expecting most people to put in, there is a lingering effect, which is like, wasted or whatever, right? And,
Yep.
and so on. But I like your very direct way of doing it too.
Well, see,
Uh,
and when you first said it, I pictured in my head an obstacle, and then you were like, "It's a trap," and then I went, "Well, how would I make an obstacle version?"
Perfect. Um, so in our So right now I've discarded the next card cards. What we would need here is a bunch of other. Um, we need a lot of other options for people here.
Going well, Jack. It is going well. I just thought of a really dumb thing. I was making the to hit requirements for drinking game, and I was like, what if it's like a straight either charisma or muscle or something better than that? Uh, and then I went, wait, straight? That's like walking a straight line in a field sobriety test. What if we have a card that is field sobriety test, where you have to make a straight
Mhm.
to pass it?
I like
I
that.
think I think that's a trap. I think that's a trap. I'm doing that sobriety test.
So for all of you viewers at home, the nice thing about these is we build a lot of cards. They don't all end up making it in. Let's see. So forking path. The problem with value is when we did that, if I'm asking for a 2, then there's other 2s on the cards, right? If something says 2 damage, and that causes all sorts of issues. Base value probably does work. We might have some people asking about the face value of face cards, right? Jack, King, Queen, Ace. Um, but face value might be clearer to people than rank. That is a good point.
True grumpy coffee beans. You know what? Actually, bribe should just be a card.
Bribe should be a card.
Give
Bribe.
up an Eddie to discard the next card or whatever, so you don't get in a fight with the cops.
So here's the problem. I've been thinking about things that involve giving up an Eddie, and I would
Mhm.
literally never do them as a player. And maybe that's just my own play experience, but it feels really bad to
Well,
give
here's
up.
the thing. You put it, I mean, it does feel really bad. The way I would try to get my players to do it was is that I would basically have a very tough boss that I would try to make them end with like 5 health, you know. They're feeling very vulnerable. Oh, it's almost the end of the deck. We're right there. And then uh-oh, NCPD's here.
So here's the issue. Uh, for me as a player, currently,
Yep.
to get rid of medical debt only costs 1 Eddie. So I'd be like, no, we're not going to lose twice versus these guys. So let's just fight them. And if we die, we don't lose anything more than if we just bribe these
Yep.
guys. But we're probably going to up the cost of medical debt, so that's less of an issue. But I just mean, as a play experience, if I feel like the right answer is to lose XP, um, that usually doesn't feel great.
Well,
Um,
see, this is how I started working on now this is not anything guaranteed to happen disclaimer. It was very roughly sketched out by me as a rough idea, but I did have my idea for the high stakes murder casino scenario where you are betting money throughout during obstacles that are like poker games and blackjack games, which by the way we should just have a blackjack mini game as a trap.
we do actually in
That's what I
the
thought.
yeah. Um, we also I don't know if these got put into build your own adventure, but in did these actually not get I have to look through the obstacles, but like a lot of the obstacles at um the university were about adding up the values rather than making a hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, faculty, 210. When the plan resolves, add up all the ranks in the plan. If the total is greater than 50, the plan hits, right? And I think we have at least one blackjack, either trap or faculty like thing. Although it's really funny, you know what I didn't do? Like Blackjack Squad is a thing in Cyberpunk. I probably should make Blackjack Squad have a blackjack thing.
Uh-huh. I was just thinking about that. I was like, blackjack should just be the name of something that you fight, and there's an effect like if the numbers in the plan add up to exactly 21,
Right.
deal double damage or something.
Yep. I might just throw that on Blackjack Squad. Although they're currently brutal, so
We have a lot of music references in our game. My field sobriety test card could be named Walk the Line. Yeah, here's my trap. It's walk the line, make a plan like normal. If the plan doesn't contain a straight, discard the next card. Or maybe if it does, discard the next card. A shield generator card that serves as phase one of a boss fight. I mean, a shield generator obstacle that is basically like you can't deal damage to any other obstacle until as long as this is in the plan. I don't think that we have something like that yet. I mean, we have things that do other things adjacent to that, but not exactly that.
I do think the design for both heal every turn and reduce damage and also make the plan harder. Those are stronger because they allow you to not deal with them directly. I think any design that forces you to deal with it directly is weaker than
Yeah,
giving you the choice.
that's true. What if I just also if we make the shield generator card like that, I know that immediately somebody's going to be like, "Hey, I put 3 shield generator cards in one fight. How does that work?"
So give you could give a way to turn the shield generator into a trap.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's an obnoxious effect, but there's a way to overload it that blows up and damages everybody else. Like if you deal double damage in one round.
Mm, yeah.
Really having trouble trying to think of an obstacle card. All I've made are lingering effects.
So I would
Yeah,
say
obstacles are a little bit difficult, especially if you're trying to make them sort of versatile, you know? not too specific.
Are you doing mechanic? Are you thinking of? Because you can switch to thinking of like flavor first, and then try and hit that. Like,
Yep.
are there cyberpunk encounters that
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
maybe.
need to
Because
represent?
I was trying to make, I don't know. I want to make, if I make an obstacle, I want it to like have something to it.
Like a mechanic, you mean?
Yeah, some kind of mechanic to it.
Yeah. No,
So
that's what I mean in terms of like you're on attack and you're like, this isn't working. You can instead shift to like, well, is there a flavor tack? Or you could shift to a schematic where you start by plotting what we have and then what we don't have, both from a mechanics and like a flavor perspective.
Yeah, I've kind of just been thinking of flavor and working backwards.
So like what flavor are we covering right now in terms of obstacles?
Drinking game.
well, so in terms of obstacles, I would say let's figure out the most basic actions you want to take is an easy one to go. uh, where think about a thing that you'd want to do in a game of Cyberpunk. We've got a bunch of those, like hack a computer or lockpick a door, but think about those. And then also think about the type of things that you'd want to encounter, right? What are the ridiculous enemies that you might want to fight or run into in a game of Cyberpunk? And then finally, I would think about the sort of um, God, I tried to say this out the word obstacles in the actual standard English sense. But the roadblocks that might come in the way of you just getting the job done, right? Um, and if you don't have ideas, think about the cyberpunk media you've seen and just go, oh, what's something they did in, Burning Chrome, Neuromancer, you know, Diamond Age, any of this stuff where you go, oh, actually, it would be cool to be able to do that in an adventure.
I just got an idea for one of some kind of obstacle that maybe it's a two-sided and you can beat the first one. You can only beat the first one by only playing a plan that does no damage. But I need to think of a two-hit that would allow you to use cards that wouldn't do damage.
Grumpy Coffee Beans is correct. I believe I'm debating on whether or not that's a player card or a obstacle or trap. It might be a trap, but Origami Unicorn is a card that we should have here.
A unicorn dream. Does pair with that, you know?
Yeah.
Um, well, after we did drinking game, Tyler suggested walk of shame. So I'd made a walk of shame trap, and
I
then
feel
I
like that
made,
has connotations that we don't want.
well, like you said, they're not all going to make it into the game. I'm writing them down. It's a jam. Uh, uh, walk the line I made after, well, that is my sobriety test. Uh, and then in the same vein of getting blasted, I made a story card. Dude, where's my Aerodyne? Which is just the name. Story cards don't have names, so that's just my internal name for it. Uh, and it's just if we want a little I don't remember anything and my body aches starting place for a scenario. I could probably write a little bit more there, but you know, Unicorn Dream, doubt your own existence. That reminds me of there's a mothership module that's all about this facility that makes basically like synth people, and there's a mechanic for the characters slowly losing their mind and not being sure if they're a robot or if they're the original version of themselves, which is very fun. All right. So a little bottom up. I just did I was like, what's another difficult, like, once players are upgraded a decent amount, fight. And I did when the plan executes, but before checking to see if you hit, discard one of each suit from the plan. If you cannot, the plan misses. And then I named it Rainbow Raiders because it's one of each color. And then I thought, this sounds like you're fighting an all gay biker, like, nomad clan, which, yes, there should be a leather daddy biker nomad clan, but also I don't want them to be the bad guys. I want them to be on your team. Welcome to your lunch break, man. 3.
Yeah, such a good,
Does,
such entertaining times. Watch us work.
does Smasher dream of electric alpacas? This is very good.
Also, Aiden, as a random piece of tech that I think is very limited, but I had the sort of inverse card uh, with, let me go find it. Mummer Show. After the first card is in the plan, players can only play cards that contain the suit already in the plan.
Ooh, nice. I like that. Grumpy Coffee Beans. I'm glad I could help you with your Cyberpunk Red game. The Rainbow Raiders might also have to make an appearance in mine. I am playing this Sunday. I don't know if we have a Nomad clan coming in at any point, but we should.
I just like the idea of the Rainbow Raiders making fun of the Crimson Flags as the Red Flags.
Yeah. Oh, here comes the red flags.
Yeah. Oh, that's a red flag.
Here's a pitch, James. This might be its own future BYOA expansion, its own box of cards. We do a whole box of cards just based around this idea. Build your own Borg. Build a Borg. Build a Borg. And it's essentially you're making an obstacle out of the pieces of Exodia, essentially.
Well, and I liked so as we get to do the future campaigns, which we're going to do a little bit more with cyberware, I
Yep.
actually kind of like that. It's funny because I was literally doing a different variant on that right now, which is pick an obstacle, get reward, right? Like, so
Yep.
I'm currently doing a scene in a fight club, basically, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and like you go to the training room, the sparring room, or the heptagon. And in the heptagon, you're going to get to choose uh, you're going to get to choose your opponent, and then what card you pull after that is going to be dependent on which opponent you choose. And so I'm trying to create a little bit like we did in that one scenario two card, a modular, like a modular combat obstacle or a modular obstacle, basically.
Yeah. Card one, Johnny's silver hand. Card two, Morgan's black hand.
Hey, don't forget card three, Alt's golden hand.
And don't forget Carrie's Eurodyne.
There we go.
Oh, Grumpy Coffee Beans, I didn't see the Rainbow Raiders, the Leather Daddy clan, triple A of the Wastelands. They're just very helpful. They're, they're like coming and
I love
helping you when you're broke down on the side of the road. A whole biker gang of leather daddies shows up and changes your tire for you.
this is great. I am sold on this.
Um, the um, the idea of like the module cyborg stuff and like module obstacles also makes me think of I had this idea very early on, but it's like too complicated right now for Legends. Like it's way more steps than we would want. But I'd always thought because a lot of the cyberware stuff in Cyberpunk is like almost tiered, not tiered, but like gated behind like a what like smaller cyberware upgrades will be gated behind a bigger one. So it'll be like you get a cyber arm, and then here's a bunch of upgrades you can get for your cyber arm.
See, I really wanted to do this
Um,
for net running because like decks and
yeah,
slotting stuff seemed great.
it's just so much. It's just so complicated to be like, okay, you've bought the cyber arm, and now you can buy three upgrades for that cyber arm, and the like it's so in the weeds.
So I actually figured out. I was thinking about this with data decks and like with net, like the net running stuff. And I
Hmm.
think what we do is we actually give you, okay, you bought the cyber arm or whatever, or you bought the uh your like deck or whatever. Okay, so for the deck, you actually get six cards. All of them just have an empty slot on them, right? And then you can fill those slots
Yep.
by getting other cards that require that you like put them on top of them. And then we have uh the cards that are multiple slots wide, like the old Magic Big Furry Monster or whatever it was. I could show this better than
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about though.
And
Um,
like, here's the thing: each cyberware piece would be in a different alignment arrangement. So, for example, let's say the arm is three cards long, then you can get three things in it, but you could also get a piece of cyberware that is three long, whereas
yep.
a leg is going to be three vertically. And so you couldn't put a three card long piece of
Yeah.
like, cyberware
And then
in.
and then this gets into like this would be really cool for a cyberpunk board game where you could do like small square cards
Right.
and not like a full Magic the Gathering card because then it's like, oh my cyber arm is this big on the table.
Well, I I'm okay with having your giant represent piece. I think of it more as going to your inventory screen in like Cyberpunk
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, but it's easy. You could do that with smaller cards, is what I'm saying,
True.
and it
Right,
would
right.
be, and it would be less cumbersome.
Well, because these are upgrade cards, so long as they're all permanents, we could actually do different size cards. If they never have to fit in a deck or a hand,
It's true.
we don't necessarily have to keep to our card size.
That's very true. Everybody's going to be very confused when we say nothing and then put out a like a booster pack of cards and it's this big.
Right.
Everybody's like,
People,
"What the hell?" Square upgrades, man. 3. That would be nutty. It would be pretty nutty, but it would be cool. Cool ideas.
Oh, Blue Mage. So I actually have that card. I did that today. I've got the Chinese room. After the first card is in the plan, players can only play cards that contain a rank already in the plan, which will do exactly that. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. You know what's funny? We have Netwatch, but I don't think we have generic Netrunner as an
Yeah,
option yet.
we absolutely should.
We- I think that's a thing we should have. Yes.
We should probably have like three net runners
Yes.
at least.
Netrunners of different levels. I agree with it.
Yeah.
Um, and then like we should probably just like have gangers and gonks of different level too. Well, gonk can probably only be the one gonk, because
Gonk, one damage, one health.
uh, and but absurd to hit requirements like double
He's
Orbicons.
got really dumb luck, so he's really hard to hit.
Oh, actually, you know, it'd be funny to have gonk, but then have lucky gonk, which is
Mhm.
exactly that.
We also need a line on there that that makes him immune to immediate damage, so that you do actually have to meet the hit requirements. Yeah, yeah, Mr. Bean levels of luck, exactly. So something like what I just made, I was like, I want kind of a harder slightly more difficult and versatile version of like, the if this card isn't defeated in one round, flip it type cards.
Mhm.
I wonder if we can do like, this is more of a manufacturing printing limitation, is like, can we just print like three versions of this with different things on the back of it? Because
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
we totally can do that. That's fine.
and we should like I should just be like here's the front of the card, and then we should just have three different versions with different like guards or whatever on the back of it, right?
It's actually simpler than you think. You just make multiple cards.
The
Yeah,
wow,
I mean
thanks, Brett.
the I think we're gonna do that for if we ever do either triptychs or whatever. Uh, I think we can do that also for the back of scene cards, where front of scene is the same, but we print like four different things that could be behind it on four different cards, so that way you can like mix it up as a DM.
Yep. I'm gonna be right back.
Oh, and intrusion attempt needs to also be. We need to have like three of those at different thing levels. Working path, it's interesting. I'm trying to think about how we would do a go fish or koi koi style thing. All right, let's see what everybody else has got going on.
Is there a flip card where the other side is actually a good thing?
I think we do have one or two, but definitely make more of those. That's
Okay.
definitely something we can use. Scabs is interesting. Um, I think for scabs, I think if you're going to do take five, it has to be take five and discard this card, um, or clear this obstacle. Because basically for scabs, right, you've got this problem of at the end of each round, we set this card aside. Discard them when all obstacles are clear. If you run out of cards in your deck and discard, oh, we need to get rid of that period. Take 5 damage and discard them early. But what happens if every player goes into this low, right? Like this is a risk. Take five is already pretty rough if it's happening one time, but this could happen 4 times in a turn. This could like 100 to 0 the crew if you are if everybody's close to the end of their deck, depending on when in the scenario they hit this. Um, so that is something that I'd be wary of. I like to wake up in a tub of ice. Um, I feel like you can't deal any damage might be too brutal. You probably have to go like damage -2, which is already pretty strong. Oh, I do like your desperate times, desperate measures.
Yeah, he was talking about something that get flipped over, and it's a good thing. And I was literally typing that out as he was talking about that.
Oh, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah, I never even thought that like scabs could activate multiple times in a round. I didn't even think of that.
Well, that's why, right? Like that's why we're doing these exercises because for you guys, um, eventually one of the things I want you to be able to do is sort of you take that moment where you close your eyes and you put yourself in the player's position, like imagine yourself playing it out and imagine how it could play out. And you'll see stuff like that. And that's going to be important as you create cards because minor wording things, right, can have a dramatic effect. And like in this case, you could wipe the party, right? They flip this, everybody's got 2 cards left in their deck. Guess you're all just dead, right? But I think these things are good. Let me take a look at. Ooh, Tyler. So for odd job, if a card has both even and odd numbers on it, how does that work?
I think if it has an odd number on it, then that would still be honored. But I don't. I'd have
Okay.
to think about like if how the rest of the cards are in the decks because I think a lot of times we have multiples that I don't think we ever. I don't think we have a lot of cards with like just evens or just odds, right? You guys know the cards
Mhm.
more intimately than I do.
We do have cards with just evens or just odds, but we also have a lot of cards that have both. Um,
Its companion is even Stevens, which is the opposite effect.
Thank you, Blue Mage. I was just like, what's something that could just. I like thinking of really weird effects, you know? Blue Mage said that he liked my chromatic aberration
Nice.
lingering effect, in which I say muscle symbols are treated as stealth, tech symbols are treated as charisma, stealth symbols are treated as tech symbols are treated as muscle.
You just want to break
Yeah,
people's
no,
brains.
I
Way too complicated, I think.
That's funny because I put chromatic uh, abrasion down here, which is a little
See,
bit
here's
different.
here's the
Yeah.
thing. I looked at the screen, I looked at the stream, and I saw chromatic abrasion, and I went, chromatic aberration. And
Yeah,
I went,
yeah. What it actually
colors are
is.
different.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a
Yeah,
lot.
what if the plan took a million years to resolve? Aiden, it's
Hmm.
almost as though my favorite Magic Commander deck to play in my pod, my Tom Bombadil deck, uh, has been nicknamed by my friends the Rube Goldberg machine because I love when it takes a million years to resolve everything.
Everything is going according to plan.
Yes, absolutely. What would
uh, also, uh, I realized that with Origami Unicorn actually, but I realized that we can make lingering effects that are a risk reward thing. I currently have Origami Unicorn at hand size -2. You may discard this card at any point. If you do, also discard the last card of the scenario deck without looking at it. So we can do a thing where we're creating lingering effects that allow you to have the choice of encountering them or not. With the discard the last card text, so we could do the same thing with obstacles or whatever, you have the
Yep.
choice to fight this thing, but if you don't, discard the last card.
Yeah. My only thing with the discard the last card of the scenario is that if that comes up earlier in the scenario deck and they fight the team fights like 8 obstacles before the end, uh I bet somebody picks up that card to read it. The last card.
I mean, they might.
With
That I think that's we're never going to stop people from reading
that's
the card
true.
and tell them not to look at.
Well,
Uh,
well, I just mean I think by that time everybody's going to forget about it.
no, I mean I think the way that these work is you literally do it then. You just take the bottom card and
Oh, you
discard.
grab it off. I see what you mean. That's actually really cool. You
Yes,
take it
that's
off
what I was
the.
talking about. Yes, you
You
literally
could do
then.
some really weird stuff with that too. You could have multiple cards that discard the bottom card,
Right. Now
and
you're
that could
seeing
that
it.
would really affect the. Yeah, that's neat.
And then you can have tiered victory conditions essentially, which is like, if you don't discard any cards, like you get to figure out the whole mystery.
Yeah.
But
What if
for
you
each one,
do? What if I mean we could do similar stuff with the top of the deck too. I mean we already do, but like you could literally do like scry in Magic and be like, uh, uh, if you don't do this, take the next card and put it on the bottom of the deck instead.
we could, but you know what else I just realized? We've never done a draw the next two cards, choose one thing
Hmm.
where we could do that. Where like if you wanted to create branching paths or small branches, we could have a draw two players choose as a group choose one. I'm just gonna put that. I'll grab these Miltech stims. I think 3 health and 1 damage is a lot, but like for later things.
Yeah.
We've got another hour or so, hour and 15. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some food.
Sounds good.
Trying to figure out how to make a wildly complicated, dumb thing for some reason. Uh, Talking about Rube Goldberg machine got me thinking, like, could we do something that's like obstacle effects? Obstacle effects and damage happen left to right, and then you can rearrange the order of active obstacles. Maybe you get to choose their targets. I don't know. There's or maybe Rube Goldberg is something that just affects the player's plan.
What if it's something like Mousetrap?
Yeah,
Just trying to think.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just like, how do I get a card to affect another card and then it affects another card? Um, I'm just gonna make a note and say come back to this because I have no idea right now. I think there might be something there, but yeah, it could mess with player order maybe. But like that's the thing, just messing with order isn't quite enough. It needs to like yeah, dominoes. It needs to be like one thing affects another thing, which then affects another thing. Has to have like compounding, not even necessarily compounding effects, but they need to like trigger each other like dominoes. Anyways, I can come up with something that's much more usable than the Rube Goldberg protocol. See, Grumpy Coffee Beans, I like that. The issue right now is we don't have like types on obstacles, like, whereas like a magic card, is like artifact, creature, or, elf, warrior. We don't have that right now, so it's hard to be like a robotic opponent, you know? Yep, exactly, Blue Mage. If we use the cyberware symbol on upgrade cards that are cyberware, we can call that out on things like I'm doing here. Yeah, Spiderbot is a bot. It does say bot on Spiderbot also. Or Spider, I think is it Spider? It's Spider Tank is the name of that card. Oh, I wanted something that evoked the feeling of a Rube Goldberg machine. Like a domino effect of like, okay, when the plan resolves, if a card does this, it affects something in this way, which affects a card this way, which affects this, which is very difficult to do. Um, Mostly, yeah,
Or whatever in the plan, like certain other certain five cards, five obstacles available, right?
yeah,
And we each obstacle has a condition on it that, if met, deals extra damage to it, and then you could say on each one if this other card has been dealt X damage or whatever.
yeah.
Um,
But that would be like a specific encounter,
right.
which is probably the way to do it because this is
I
weird.
don't think you
I
ever like
yeah,
this.
yeah, I was like, is there a way I can do that with just like a lingering effect that affects the plan? Um, but yeah, I just added because I was like, oh yeah, we have the cyberware symbols, we can call that out. So I had made a lingering effect called hijacked cyberware, which is the party takes +1 damage for each round for each cyberware permanent. Um, and then I did basically the same thing, but in the form of a anti-personnel netrunner obstacle.
Mm. Oh, sorry, I just had another idea for an obstacle, but tell me about this anti-personnel netrunner obstacle?
I mean, it's the same as the cyberware, the hijack, the
Sure.
lingering effect, uh, where and you could do it differently too. It doesn't necessarily need to be +1 damage for each cyberware permanent. It could be that they deal -1 damage for each cyberware permanent, which seems worse to me. That seems, yeah. You're right, Blue Mage. There is somebody in the Discord who absolutely loves Spider Tank. That is all they want. Is
There's
Spider
indeed a
Tank.
spider fan in the Discord.
Spider Tank does whatever Spider Tank does. It's a sweet Simpsons movie Spider Pig reference for all of you Simpsons movie heads out there. They're making a second one. They're making a new Simpsons movie now.
What's like, hey chat, for the couple of you who are around, what is a cyberpunk encounter that you've had in your like games of cyberpunk that you would love to be able to live out in this? We've got a lot of the generic ones now, but not enough of them. I think there's more stuff, right? Like we've got hacking, we've got lockpicking, we've got dealing with a net runner, we've got like fighting some gangers, we've got getting away in a car, but there's got to be more stuff that I'm not thinking of.
Cyber
Oh, Aidan,
Psycho Ritual. Yeah, lying, conning, disguising, etc. That's a big one.
yeah, we've got sort of the like fast talking one, but we don't have a disguise one.
Disguise is good.
Oh, oh my God, we don't have a 3 card Monty um trap. I'm totally making one. I don't know exactly what it is, but we're doing
I don't know how to play 3 card Monty.
it. Someday I'll teach you. So, you know shell game, right? Where like you've
Yeah,
got
it's
three
just the pick the one card, right?
right, that's all it is.
Of the three, yeah. How do we make the scam in card form?
So here's the thing. I think we take the top 3 cards of the leader's deck, put them face down. The leader shows the crew all three, and then shuffles them on the table. We have to figure out how to put those words
Yep.
in, and then the crew picks one. And if you got the right one, draw the next card. Otherwise, discard the next card without looking at it.
If you don't get the right one, the leader who shuffled them gets Eddie's and you don't. The rest of the team doesn't.
Perfect. Dude, what's the word? It's encounter, right? When it's like not a trap, but it's also has rules text. It's not a trap, it's not an obstacle, but still has rules text. We're using encounter.
Encounter,
I'm
yeah.
yeah.
Yep. That's the card type. If you make a choice, we call it a choice card.
I remember that. I was just making sure that encounter wasn't that was how we were specifying encounter.
Yep. Encounter is sort of the generic. We also just use encounter for like when there's a basically just a story card with a picture. It's sort of our generic word for that frame.
Yeah. That's why I was wondering. I was wondering if we had even actually defined it as one of those two things, but I think it's fine having those.
Mm, talking about scams. I'm trying to working out in my head if there's any way I can do a parody of like modern scams. If I can make the players buy iTunes gift cards or the Cyberpunk equivalent of that.
Oh, I told you
Um,
about the scammer RPG, right?
no.
Oh, this was one that we were running at GDC. So there's like a GDC competition, like design competition, and many of them are very silly. But this is the RPG where we go. All right. So here you go. Here's your character sheet. Your strength is the first digit of your birth date. Your dex is the month of your birth date, and the like charisma is your year of your birthday. And your character's name is your dog's name plus your mom's maiden name. And and it's great. Really funny because some people literally wouldn't pick up on it and we'd be like, no, please destroy this character sheet in a way
Yeah,
that no one's
please.
going to put back together.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, your code name is you take your social security number and you correlate each number on there to a letter.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We actually had your starting goal be your last three of your social.
Mm. It should be the your starting gold is the security pin on the back of your debit card.
So it's funny, like we were trying to figure out how far we could push it
Yeah,
without people like being like, wait a minute, this is a scam, while still making it incredibly obvious that this is
yeah.
a stupid internet scam. And oh my God, now I understand why people fall for internet scams.
And then you make a phone app to track people's
There you go.
so that people can you make a D&D Beyond equivalent for the game. That way you can collect all that data.
I like it. Exactly, Forking Path. Like,
Yeah.
it's really funny because I was like, if I actually made this as like a thing on the internet and advertise on Facebook to people, I bet you I would get people filling this whole thing out. And I was like, oh my God, it's so bad.
We should or do the same thing but tell them it's to figure out which the Sex and the City character they are.
There you go.
Are you a Samantha? Give us the three digits on the back of your credit card to find out.
Perfect.
Is Samantha a character from Sex and the City? Sounds like it would be. I don't know the names of the characters from Sex and the City.
She is. You got it right.
Yes. I feel like that's maybe the only like name that I've heard that I've associated with Sex and the City.
It is true, Grumpy Coffee Beans. Like, I try and watch most things that are like a part of mass pop culture. Like, you guys have heard me talk about how like I buy Madden every year, not because I like Madden, but because I want to keep apprised of, what people are paying $1 billion for in entertainment. And but I have not actually watched Sex and the City. It's one of
Uh,
the big like cultural touchstones I have not actually watched.
James, I'll answer your question for you of what people are spending $1 billion on every year. It's gambling.
I mean, well, that's all of everything. I hate to tell you, but
Everything is gambling now.
yeah. Uh,
It's insane going to like the
you,
toy section at Walmart And I'm like, half of these toys are gambling. It's like blind box shit in
So,
real life. And like
yep,
that's like what Labubus are. And like it's like everything is just gambling. Stop
well,
doing this, people. Stop.
it was funny because
Please.
at GDC this year, every single banner, every sponsor, like every
Yes.
ad you saw around the place, it was all for sports betting. Like the Game Developers Conference was just sports betting this
And
year. And
I they won't stop giving me the dumbass AI YouTube commercials for Kalshi or whatever, where it's like, you can bet on anything. And I'm like, that's terrible. Great. Kill
I don't
me.
want this. Yeah.
it is remarkable because you'd think that with all the modern forms of entertainment and all we've learned about engaging people, we wouldn't devolve down to the thing we've done for 10,000 years because human beings have been bored. Um, and yet here we are. In fact, for all of our research and study about game design, the true answer is just make it all gambling.
Yeah, it's
Wow,
nuts.
Forking Path, that is an excellent answer to what a Labubu is.
Except Furbies have more features than a Labubu.
And
Furbies
were
talk to
Furbies
you.
not randomly sold?
Yeah, they also weren't randomly sold. It's, I mean, Labubu is just, yeah, it's like a little keychain, little monster thing, and it's sold limited quantity because you got to get the FOMO, and in random uh, boxes because you want people to buy like 500 boxes each so that they can do whatever. I was talking to a guy on the plane to Gen Con who runs some card game some game stores in California, and he was telling me about he was doing, running booths at some conventions for his card shop, and he had a hookup to get like some Labubus and stuff, and it's when the craze was like the craze, and he was just like, yeah, I'd have like 100 Labubus, and like it has nothing to do with what we're selling. We're like a game store, but I just put like 100 Labubus in our alongside all the cards and everything. 100 Labubus. Tyler is. Ah, yes, that is what a Labubu is.
Perfect.
Thank you,
Now
Tyler.
I know we're in the successful part of the evening.
Um, but yeah, he was just like, yeah, I'd put like 100 out and they'd sell in like 20 minutes. All of them would immediately sell. Absolutely insane. It's so dumb. It is also somewhat equivalent to like Beanie Babies, even though those weren't randomized. It's also the idea of like limited edition and things holding their value. It's why like half of the Pokemon card collecting community is just gambling. It's just guys opening packs and seeing if they get an expensive card.
Dude, Pokemon is. I can't believe that there are services where you can pay and they will stream you them opening your packs for you and then send you the expensive ones.
Yep.
Like, uh,
Yeah, it's insane.
yeah. I'm afraid of when all these bubbles burst because they're all going to burst simultaneously, right? Like, if the AI bubble
Yep.
bursts, our economy collapses. If our economy collapses, all of the speculative bubbles burst, which means that, the Pokemon bubble burst, the like Bitcoin bubble burst,
Oh, I'm gonna
all
buy
the
so many singles of Magic cards after they plummet in price. Oh, I'm getting some dual lands, baby. No, dual
oh,
lands probably actually won't crash because those are one of the few like that they're like, we will never reprint these in any way, shape, or form. so collectors can be like, my mountain island is worth $5,000.
Well, it is a question to me of, does all frippery, does all of our like non-essentials crash in price if all these other bubbles burst? Because at the same time, right, the real estate bubble is going to burst if all the other bubbles burst, and then you're
Yep.
just like, well, good. Time
Well,
to
look, I'm saving some money for a house right now. I'm renting at the moment, so if it could burst sometime in the next like 6 months,
So here's the
um,
thing. I feel like for society, we need this bubble to burst. For Night Crew games, we need it just to hold out for a year. We just need it in 1 year. Oh my God.
yep.
Let's keep going on this.
You said two Eddie rewards were okay to do, right?
Sorry, what was this?
You said two Eddie rewards were like okay to do.
Yeah, two eddies is a lot. Just so you know, like, I don't think we have a two eddies on anything in the entire game right now. So two eddies is a lot. But
We
for
do,
real,
but it's like literally on like the end card of a scenario that gives you your eddies for the game.
right, that has no
Yeah,
other
yeah,
no other eddies in the entire scenario.
Mhm.
yeah. The Bitcoin did get swept to LLM bubble, and I mean it did kind of crash, but the whole uh, basically all the crypto stuff is kind of just being floated along on the backs of a bunch of people that are in a cult, essentially.
Every so often I'll get an ad that's like, "Oh, you get like $5 a Bitcoin if you sign up for our garbage," and there's usually nothing stopping you from just signing up and selling it immediately.
Yep.
So
It's
every
funny.
so often I get a free $5 just randomly.
So I will say, uh, way, way, way back in the day, um, when Solana was first coming out, the I had a buddy who was running a game studio, and of course they got, sponsored by whatever the that terrible Bitcoin company that that was just fraud, uh that was sponsoring everything at the time, and they were like, "Oh man, can you help us out? Can you just like sign up for this thing and buy a little bit?" And so I bought like 2K worth and forgot about it, and then when we needed ads for this, I was like, "Oh, I'm absolutely broke. What can I possibly liquidate to keep selling ads for Cyberpunk so people know this game exists?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I have something in Coinbase." And it was 10K, and I was like, "This is stupid. Like everything about this, the fact that this occurred this way is dumb." Uh, and so I guess I technically have made Bitcoin money, which makes me a little sad, but now I have liquidated that account and closed it, and I'm very happy about that fact. So Grumpy Coffee, this is the weird thing, right? Like you would think that every other time that anyone has attempted to create an alternative currency, especially in the United States, it has been stomped down so unbelievably hard by the US government. It's shocking to me that that there's been no governmental action about this at all. This is not true. Emperor Norton was able to issue alternative currency and was not stomped down by the US government, but he was the only one.
Get rich quick scheme. +1 damage for each Eddie. Your Eddie's pile.
I gotta run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
We have about 45 minutes. How is everybody feeling on their stuff? I feel like we've made some progress, but does anybody need any feedback on things? Is there any problems that anyone was trying to solve that they haven't been able to solve yet?
Oh, not
Uh,
really.
I like a little bit of feedback on the one I just made. Because I wanted to make one where if you flip it, you get a reward. Like if you don't like kill it, you get a reward. But that basically would make it, if it's an obstacle where you would take damage, you'd basically have to find a way to heal or block that amount of damage to get the reward. So I was trying to find a way to balance that somehow. Because so how it is now, this would be like 9 damage you would take.
So, I think there's a much easier way to do this, or a way that avoids that problem. What else could you do here? What other levers do you have? What tools?
Uh,
So think about a bounty. If you are trying to take this guy in, and let's say you did no damage to him over these 3 rounds, why is he coming with you?
yeah, there's no reason to go with you. I was actually, yeah, you're right. I could make it maybe if he's like below a certain amount of health.
Exactly. If this card has, say, 10 damage on it at the end of the round, flip this card, right? So that would mean that if you don't kill him, but you get him low,
Yeah.
then you flip it, you get the reward.
Oh yeah.
Okay, gotta stay focused. I do like this actually. I think bounty is a cool one. I actually didn't think about that. I think that's a very cool one. That is almost certainly going to make the convert over to the real list because we might need a bounty 1, 2, and 3, but like that basic structure of like deal damage, but not all the damage as a like alternate mini game to play within an obstacle is very cool.
Yeah. I also wanted it to be something that like if you're not like paying attention to the wanted alive text and you just kill it, you just won't get the reward.
Right. That's also fair. If you're if
Another
you're
thing I was thinking that was more lenient was to make it so that if you kill it, you get 1 Eddie. If you don't kill them, you get 2. Because I think that's how that works on like how actual wanted dead or alive bounties used to work. You get paid less if they were dead.
I mean, yes, but I kind of like your just like if if the so the cool thing about this card is think about a build your own adventure. Do you need to do anything to make that the case if the person building their adventure wants that to be the case?
What, say again?
Like the card as written, what, if anything, do you have to change to make that the case if someone in a build your own adventure environment wants that to be the case, where, if you kill it, you get 1 Eddie?
You can just give them the 1 Eddie when they kill it.
Well, so you could put it on there, or depending on how we wanted to do it, they could also just have the Eddie as the next thing, right? So you could have bounty
Yeah.
reward on Eddie, and then another Eddie as the next card. and you don't even have to put that on this card, right? Because that allows the GM, the person making the build your own adventure, to determine whether they want this bounty to be dead or alive or just alive, right? And
Mm,
they get to decide that by whether or not they put an eddy following this card.
mm. Because I was thinking about the like in 2077, some of the like when you scan someone, it'll show like if they have a bounty on them, and I thought it'd work for a card. That's why I asked if we had cards that did something like that, where if you keep them alive, you get a reward instead of a punishment.
No, I like that a lot. I think that's great. And I think, as I said, I think when you're thinking these things, when you're thinking about these things, one of the difficult things to sort of wrap your brain around and put yourself in the situation of is think about the card not in isolation, but as the deck constructor, can I make this card say more things, right? Because if you make it wanted, dead, or alive and put one eddy on the front and two eddies on the back, then it is wanted, dead, or alive, always, 100% of the time. But if you just put bounty and then the stats, no eddies like on the front, one eddy on the back, then it can be wanted alive if the deck builder wants it to be wanted alive, but they can also convert it into wanted dead or alive if they so choose by putting an eddy afterwards.
Mm.
Temporarily quitting out of Fallout 76 fishing simulator to check out the BYOA deck
Oh, thank you.
And
in TTS.
uh, as you know, as I've said, like the BYOA deck is right now very light. I think over the next week we'll be adding in a bunch of these cards. Like this is another good 50 cards or so that we've added in. Um, I need to sit down and just like not be on the phone with everybody to think through the really complicated like locations and stuff, but this is a very good set of additional cards that we could just throw in next week. If I had my druthers, I would say I would want to do this every week and then just add to the BYOA deck like literally every week where we do this on Fridays, we over the weekend add these to build your own adventure and we just like add basically 50 cards a week every week until we start really slowing down on how many cards we're building. I don't know if we have the time or space to do that, but I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm sure we could try and do some of it though.
Well, if we could do this, like I do want to do this more regularly.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good exercise. James, what about this tarot reading?
Let me flip down to yours. Oh, interesting. So this is a player card.
Yeah, I think so.
So you would play this from your hand, and then all players would basically take three, choose two. One goes straight into the plan.
Yeah. Yeah, you could
So
replace
replace it.
one. Yeah.
You're gonna have to. You're going to have to list how they do this. Are we going in clockwise order? Do people just do it in an order of their choosing? Like who replaces a card first,
Probably the leader. It should go whoever the leader is.
and then who's second?
Whoever's second from the leader, clockwise, how
So
normal.
we have to spell that out, right? Where we
Yeah.
go, starting with the leader, replace and going clockwise, replace one card from the plan. Um,
Yeah, I just made two obstacles. One's called a rocker and the other's called a hard place. So that's
but
where my
do
head's at right now.
although we should have like we should have some other generic like you know we should actually have bounty hunter as somebody who can come out as an obstacle. We should have like street samurai or something else as like a solo hunting you. We should have all the classes basically.
Yep.
Hmm.
Um, and then I mean I still want my drone mages, but that's a different game.
I was just thinking earlier about how we could do
Oh yeah.
the tech role in having them make their own devices.
See, I was gonna go the coward's route and put devices into that deck, but tell me about how you were gonna have them make the devices.
Oh, I'm not sure quite yet, but I mean, yeah, you could put them in the deck, but I'm thinking you have, uh, I mean, we could basically make what we were talking about with like the cyber arm and stuff like that, with like the where you get like a chassis for the device, and then you put different things inside of it. Um,
We can't for a lot of reasons we can't do it. But man, I would love to have the tech have clear plastic cards, and the cards are only printed in the top bottom, like top third, middle, or bottom, and you put three together to like make a card and put it into the plan.
yep. Spooky has come to say hello to everybody.
Hello, Spooky.
What up, spooky?
How are you? How are you, my dark, dark friend? You are the knight.
Is this cat last year in October? Uh, my partner is a caregiver, and she was getting off work, got into her car during a rainstorm, and this guy just kind of jumped in her car and said, "I am your cat now."
I'm adopting you.
And I guess there was a bunch of black cats that were strays over in that area. Some stray cat had a litter of black cats. So the cat distribution network did its job.
Do we have right now a good symbolic way? Because the only place that we were going to do this, we took it off of saying a pair of stealth plus a pair of muscle.
You mean both?
Yes.
Like, uh,
Like you need to hit is one pair of stealth plus one pair of muscle.
I mean, you could just put a pair with muscle and stealth, but that means they would have to be in the same pair.
Right.
We could do it. You just wouldn't put the or symbol between them.
That's what I was thinking.
We just don't do it very often, but there's no reason we can't. Grumpy Coffee Beans is a crazy cat lord.
Commander of cats. Plus one to all cats on the table. In this case, oh, nope, nope. The cat has left the table, I see.
Oh, yes. I think Claudia got home, so
So you're no longer interesting. I
I'm
understand.
no longer interesting. No. Ugh.
God, it hurts me to make generic stuff, right? Like I'm doing the bounty hunter, hired killer, corporate assassin line, and like
Mhm.
those names hurt my soul, but we need them to be those so people can socket them in wherever.
They'll come up with their own lore.
Oh, Forking Path, I appreciate the fact that your entire BYOE feedback is lol.
I'm the spare human. I mean, to be fair, he does not like being on people or being held at all. But when I'm in this chair right here and I lean back in it, he will hang out on top of me sometimes. So I'm only the spare human sometimes. All right, here's an encounter. Repel. Make one plan like normal, leave it in play, then make another plan like normal. This add up the ranks on both plans. The second on each plan, I should say. That way they don't, it's a little clearer. I don't want them added together. Add up the ranks on each plan. Um, if the second plan's number is lower than the first, discard this. I
Yep.
guess I'd say if it's higher than the first, take damage.
Well, let me scroll down to this to actually take a look at it. Make a plan as normal, leave it in play. Then make another plan like normal. Add up the ranks in each plan. So the weird thing about this is, can't you just like 100% succeed at this
Yeah,
if
pretty
you know you
much.
do both parts of this? Here's how I would do it, because I think it's very close. But here's how I would do it. Um,
I'll be right back.
Um, Grumpy Coffee Beans, I'm just bad at spelling, and I don't know the difference between repel and rappel. It is supposed to be rappel because it's supposed to be going
yeah.
from higher to lower, so I just wrote the wrong one.
Um, but I like the idea of having the players make a plan and then having that hidden information on the back of, okay, now deal with the situation you put yourself in.
Yep, yep,
Uh,
100%.
Also, for corporate assassin, I took your suggestion. So, and I'm tempted to do this like,
What suggestion?
so corporate assassin is 5 of 11 for 3 of a kind stealth, 3 of a kind muscle, or flesh or better. If this card is not defeated in one round, put it on the bottom of the scenario
Oh,
deck. So like,
nice.
goes
Yep.
back up. Um,
Uh-oh.
and what's really funny is what happens if you face him on the bottom of the scenario deck and don't defeat him in one round.
Yep. Well, also, what happens if the GM, whoever puts together the deck, puts this there and then puts other cards that might go on the bottom after it?
So
So
you
then
have
you
to,
might face him again and then put him on the bottom again.
well, and so here's the thing: I'm going to assume that GMs are acting. I guess we should call them deck builders, but they're GMs in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume the GM is acting with competence and intentionality, and so is seeing like
Yeah.
how their deck might get super weird if they start layering stuff on the bottom. But you're right; they could do very cool things if they're like cognizant of it.
Um, see, Forking Path, those are less generic and more flavorful. The issue is if we name it Corporate Assassin, um, you can slot it into a deck where the team is fighting Miltech, or if they're fighting Arasaka,
Right.
or if they're fighting Biotechnica. Whereas if we name it Arasaka Assassin or whatever, Arasaka Trained Killer, then it only slots into a deck where Arasaka are the bad guys that you're fighting.
And that's what's really hard about this. Like, I want desperately. That's why I was like, calling these bounty hunter, hired killer, corporate assassins like kills my soul. But I think right now, one of the exercises is to rein in our desire for coolness in order to make things that have the broadest applicability. And then once we have enough of those so you can build whatever, then we can start creating more of the flavor cards that you can, the spice that gives your deck the flavor.
Yeah.
Now I want to build a couple of these like side A, build a plan, side B.
Yeah.
Are you trying to make a better plan? Are you trying to make a
Yep.
worse plan? Are you trying to get the same number of stealths as you had in the previous plan? Who knows?
Social climber derogatory.
I do like the idea of a B-side. Like that ties in nicely with all the music references.
Deep cuts, yes.
Deep Cuts, that's another great card name.
I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this for a rocker card that does high damage, but I kind of really wanted to do a card which is deep cuts, uh, adds +3 damage to any cards only available during the Kickstarter.
Deals extra damage to you if you have VIP status in the Discord.
There you go.
That's great because we can slap a QR code on it for people who haven't joined.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
had a non-insubstantial amount of people say they want like joke cards, like how Magic has them.
someday we will do a Cyberpunk Unglued. I have, I
Yeah, that
have,
is exactly what they said. Yeah.
Yep.
um, oh man,
I
oh
love
Lord Jesus,
Unglued.
good. I'm glad you guys got crushed. My job as a creator is done. No, that's awesome. I'm glad that you both got beaten and were still interested in trying again. That's fantastic. What's the feel of an intercepted card, right? Like, because that's something that happens in Cyberpunk a lot, where you're going to do one thing, and then whatever the NCPD shows up, or some gang blocks you on your way, or like something just intercepts you on the way to do the thing that you were going to do. And I feel like,
Bush.
yeah, but like, what's the like? How do we express?
I mean, we do that with a story card, I think, right? And
So
then we
that's
let them draw, and then we let the DM put whatever obstacles after that. Yeah.
I was wondering, like, I think so. I think that there's all that, but I'm wondering if there's a like, if there's a way to dodge that situation, or if there's a way to like have some player interaction in that moment, right? Like, I agree with you. That was my first thing, was this doesn't need a card, and then I was like, do we want to have any interaction options there?
Yeah. Yeah, an ambush like a trap or something that's like complete this in one round or else X happens might be
We
nice
we
because you
have a
could do yeah, but you could do like a flavorful like here's an ambush and then it adds a lingering effect or you take damage or something and then you get into the fight that is the actual ambush. It's like
oh
a card that's basically like how well do you respond to the ambush aspect of this fight?
no, I know what it is. It's an obstacle. The obstacle, you'd have to lay this out specific ways as a GM, but it's an obstacle, and it says at the end of every round, draw the next card from the scenario deck. So like more and more guys are showing up, and then when you defeat it and all the other obstacles, you discard those remaining cards, and you cap it at like four, right? So here, I'll try and put it together now.
I like this ham bush idea. You trip and land in a bush and find a fresh ham sandwich.
Perfect.
Sorry, sandwich.
Sandwich.
Teamed ham bush.
I'm almost there. We're like 50% of the way through intercepted. Because all I need to do is figure out how I phrase, like, discard the ones you didn't draw. Um,
Thanks to you, Tyler, I have made Aurora Borealis at this time of year, localized entirely within Night City.
I was gonna say we have to have a steamed tofu or something reference.
Themed synth ham.
Yeah. In fact, I feel like that's gonna be my new goal. We have to get that in there somehow.
Here's my pitch right now. Steamed synth hams is a permanent upgrade. You what's the term we use for getting rid of it entirely?
Oh,
Not exhaust.
you just remove.
Flip. I forget what we call it. Whatever. I'm saying rip.
Rip, I like it. Because that was the icon. I think that still is the icon. We might should think about I think that icon is fine, but you know.
All right, rip heal 5 and have an unforgettable luncheon. Steamed synth hams. Done. Consume. Thank you, Blue Mage. Oh, it's consume, and we're consuming the steamed hams.
Yes.
Holy shit.
See,
Unforgettable luncheon. Yep.
perfect.
Perfect. No notes.
If you're not if you're not having fun while making games, like you're doing it wrong.
All right, I'm gonna make an obstacle now called Skinner, and it's gonna be like a horror thing, and if it makes it into the final game, nobody will ever know it was originally because of steamed hams that it's called Skinner. It's gonna be like a
Amazing.
horror thing.
But see, if it makes it into the game, then I'm gonna have to make Skinner's box, and it's gonna be great.
And then they have to interact in some way.
Yep. Oh my God, Skinner's box is just +1 Eddie for every scenario you've played without stopping. We have 10 minutes and we got to roll to our meeting. Um, is there anything anybody wanted to cover before these 10 minutes are out?
I don't think so. We should leave a couple minutes before 5 our time also. Otherwise, we're gonna have people jumping we're in the Discord chat that people will be jumping into
Oh,
for that meeting.
that is
So
true. And people won't recognize this and then start meeting talk. Yes. So I think we should just basically wrap it here then.
Sounds
yeah.
good.
But this was great. This was a good start. I would like us to be a little bit more efficient about these. I know I have problems thinking through complex things. Like all the things I built today were pretty simple because I have trouble concentrating while like I'm trying to function on multiple paths, but this is still good. I think we should do more of these.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody.
Yep.
Yep,
Thanks
it
for
You
was
good
joining us
great
night as
today.
well.
seeing you all out here. And again, if anybody else builds build your own adventures, like as you build them, let us know on Discord because I don't know how I'm going to find the time, but I would genuinely like to play them. And as we get more cards, this will become more and more viable, including apparently Steam hams.
Synth
Well, all
hams.
right.
All right.
Shall
Thanks,
we
everybody.
wrap up Cyber hams?
Yep.
Yes, that's the important
Cyber
bit.
hams.
All right. See you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Yes, everyone.